Hey everyone, welcome back to the All Music Matters on That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Today I welcome a special guest way out there in the UK. We got Matt Armstrong from the band Blue Orchid Reaction. How you doing today, brother?
Good, very well. It's blue orchid reaction. But that's a common mistake people make.
Orchid. Okay. I see what you mean. Oh yeah, it's one of the flowers, right?
Absolutely. We got the name, well, I came up with the name from the White Stripes song. You
That was a
gotta
White Stripe
react,
song.
you turn an orchid blue. So,
Alright, that's pretty cool. I guess how you been recently? What's new?
Good, good. We're promoting singles that we've been recording. We are out gigging, we are doing festivals, we are keeping busy, even though the British summertime is trying its best not to be a summertime. But yeah, we're doing good. We're getting out there.
We'll say yeah, it's been unseasonably cooler than what it normally is, and because normally it's meant to be like in the high 90s for like a good chunk of August right here too. So I'm not sure how bad it's meant to be in the UK.
Well, in the UK, it's been weird. It feels like it's been March for about 7 months, then suddenly, boom, we had some sunshine. Um, and the British being the British, as soon as we have sunshine, shirts are off, we're in the pubs. Um, for about a weekend, and it goes grey and dull, which it is. It's okay today, but it's not as nice as it has been. But hopefully, the nice weather will come back.
I'd say out here it's been a little strange because our rain has been on and off. I mean, it was literally downpouring about like 10 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden the sun's out, shining and everything too. So it's been weird. So, all right. But weather aside, I guess which part of the world are you hailing from?
It's England. It is an area called Leeds, which is in Yorkshire. So it's kind of upper middle of England.
Oh, do you know Stellar Anderson?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, we have crossed paths at a couple of gigs. I don't know her well, but I do know her as a performer. Proper powerhouse vocals, I have to say. Watching her do her thing with the piano ballads, she's got a great voice, really good voice.
Yeah, I had her on here not too long ago, and her interviews now both on my Spotify and YouTube channel. So, see,
Excellent. Oh well, oh well.
yep, she's very awesome too, and may she keep up the good work there too. So, shout out to Stellar Anderson and the Stellar Anderson Project, by the way. So, all right. So, everyone to fill in. I guess originally we were supposed to have the whole group on here, but I guess whatever happened outside of maybe whatever Matt was going to tell us here, but looks like Matt's just going to ride solo here. So, Matt, I want to welcome you to my project and podcast right here. So, the way it's going to work is going to get to know you more both as the musician, but also as the individual as well here too. So, sent you questions. I hope you had time to review. So, you all ready?
Yeah, fire away.
All right. So, let's start with you in general. So, let's get to know you more in general. I guess, who are you and how did you become a musician?
Um, I am a teacher from England. I'm originally from a place called Newcastle, which is the north of England, and I moved to Leeds because I wanted to study history, but I also wanted to move away, but not too far away from home. Um, and yeah, I've been a teacher for the last sort of 6, 7 years, and I love it. I'm a primary school teacher. Really, really, really enjoy it. In terms of music, I think I've always been into music. I've always listened to it, sing along in the car, digging into my dad's and my mum's records. But in terms of playing, I was about 16, and I just sort of went, I'm a bit bored of playing football constantly. And that was it. That was it growing up. That's all it was. So I was like, I need to do something else. I need to do something. I feel the need to be creative. And music always stood out to me. So I bought my first £200 Squire Strat and taught myself some chords and some scales. Um, but I didn't actually start playing with other people properly in bands until I met Paul, our lead singer, about probably about 10 years ago now, who's a friend of somebody I went to uni with. We were messing about some ideas, and he's like, "Oh, I've got a friend who can sing a bit and play guitar. Do you mind if I invite him along?" I thought, "Yeah." And little did I know, 10 years later, me and him have been in a couple of bands together and are still going they're still going now. So it's it's a real passion and a hobby, and really addictive being in a band. It's really addictive. Once you play in front of one person, you want to play in front of two. First time you record, you think it's the bee's knees. Then you want to just keep on recording, you keep on writing. Um, so yeah, it's a little bit about me there.
I'd say it's a good addiction to say the least. You do. I know addiction
Oh,
always gets a bad rap, so yeah,
expensive addiction, but it's a good addiction.
that's true. Yeah, I guess. What's your role in the band? Because I'm seeing a bass guitar hanging on your wall behind you there.
Um, I do play a little bit of bass, but that's mainly just me figuring out ideas and just I use it as a way of just keep developing, keep learning about rhythm and groove, and chords and scales and stuff. I play guitar. I do some backing vocals live, but with a turned down mic because I am not a singer. I write songs as well. Um, I would say me and Dom do the majority of the lyrics and maybe generate the initial idea of a song, then we bring it to the band and we all develop it. But definitely that's not to underplay Alex and Paul's contributions at all because they're vital. So yeah, that's kind of my role. I'm also sometimes I'm the mouth, as you can tell when I'm doing this, and I'll be the one sort of firing off the emails, giving places a call, trying to get us booked or get us on different places. So I've got quite an active role. So that's kind of what I do.
I say keep yourself busy, so that's a good thing. So
Not always by choice, not always by choice, but like I say, it's addictive, isn't it? Once you play alive, once you play in front of somebody, you just want to keep going. And the more people and the better reaction it is, the more you want to do it. And when you have a bad show, I feel the need to correct it by playing better at the next show. So yeah, it's very much a passion project, I'd say.
that's great. And I guess just filling the audience here, I guess how'd you meet some of the other members of the group? So I know you mentioned about Dom, so I guess much about.
So at the beginning, I met Paul through a mutual friend that I met at university. We He was running the Great North Run, and we just started jamming together. And he said, "Well, I'm going to do this. Why don't we do this gig to raise some money for the Great North Run, and we can put some of these songs we've been writing into practice." So we did. From there, two of the members weren't able to stay on. They chose different careers, and life got in the way. Um, we then met Dom when both me and him met to become. We were training to be teachers, so we met day one, hit it off, and it turned out we had so much in common. Not only music, but a lot of things, including sense of humour and movies and stuff like that. Um, and I got him involved. He's an amazing guitarist, fantastic singer. He's such a good guitarist that we put him on bass because I don't want to be outshined on guitar. Then Alex, he took over our previous drummer, Johnny. Alex is a doctor, very good one at that, and he is Paul's brother-in-law. So he joined 4 years ago, I believe, when we were struggling to find a replacement. So yeah, I'll hop on drums. I'll help you out if you want. And I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. Unbelievable drummer. Unbelievable. The guy is John Bonham reincarnated. And I don't say that lightly. He is a fantastic musician and not just a drummer. He is very impressive, which has then meant we've had to level everything up that we've done. So it's gone from a little band doing open mic to now being all playing regular gigs in pubs, clubs, festivals, and stuff like that. That's kind of like the little short, brief history of BOR
And actually, I know he's being humble too when he's like being like, "Yeah, sure," and then he's out there like just shredding it up, like what you said with John Bonham. So yeah,
Oh man, when he came in, he's like, "Oh, I've been listening to some of your songs on the drive here." Oh, all right, okay. So we should replay some? But yeah, okay, okay. And he started playing, and he did like a little drum solo. And I'm pretty sure his arms split into four and just did all this. Me and Dom stopped and we just burst out laughing. Not because it was like, oh my god, isn't that funny? It was like, oh my god, this guy can play. We're going to have to step it up. And that's what we've been doing ever since, trying to step it up and reach his level. But he's really generous with his knowledge. His musical knowledge is fantastic. He's very much a student of music, and he's really patient. Because I'll go by my own admission. I know so much. I'm self-taught, so there's certain things that I don't really know the terminology for, or I do things by accident. He's helped me recently unpick it, so I stopped doing things by accident, and I know what I'm doing a bit more. But there's a long way to go. But yeah, I can't sing the guy's praises enough. I really can't.
Just like in those choir classes, go on Sundays to church, just do those little choir boy sessions. So
You know what? He sings as well. He's in about 7 or 8 other bands, and he's not just a drummer. He plays guitar, he plays piano, he can sing. Um, there's probably isn't much that he can't do. He's one of those kind of musicians. He's very, very good at what he does. Very
yeah, you picked a good fish, as I like to say it there too. So that's all good. So I guess who came up with the name? I guess you said it was actually one of the
good.
bands that
Yeah,
wants to do the White Stripes.
he needed a few years after this Great North Run gig I just talked to you about when me and Paul first got together. Dom had recently joined, and there was another charity event happening, a fantastic venue called the Primrose. Check it out if you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, come to Leeds and check it out. It's really good. And they were doing a fundraiser for something called Andy's Man Club. Do you guys have that over there?
Something similar. I'm not too sure, but
If you're
it
not
doesn't.
aware, Andy's
I'm
Man,
not familiar with it, but go ahead.
it's encouraging men to talk about their problems, and it's meant to be a safe space. It's a relatively new, in the last 10 year thing that's blown up. And there was a chance to raise a bit of money, but we didn't have a name, and we bounced around all these names. It sounded rubbish. So I was listening to White Stripes, Blue Orchid, and the line was, "You got a reaction. You took an orchid and turned it blue." And I don't know why. I thought that's pretty cool. Blue orchid reaction. I said it to the guys, and they went, "Well, it's not rubbish. It's better than what we've been coming up with so far." So we kept it. The problem is now nobody can ever remember the full name whenever we play it live. Um, so we've been having some discussions about changing it. We just can't settle on a name. So I think Blue Orchid's going to be now by default. So that's how we came up with the name, and we're stuck with the name now.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Blue Orchid. Orchid would probably be better. Sorry, I'm terrible with flower names too.
It's
Even though,
fine.
even though I will
I think,
admit my mom has a lot
I
of
think
flowers too.
we did look at that. We thought, why don't we shorten it? But there's a Manchester band that's been on the scene 20, 30 years. They're not huge, but they've been around long enough, and they're at a level above. That it'd probably be unfair for us, for anybody to come to our gig thinking they're going to see them because they're the more established band. But I think we're probably just going to have to stick with it. And the better we play, and the more we play, and if people like our tunes, they'll remember our names eventually. We just got to keep hammering it.
So it boils down to. So I can see why. All right. But excellent choice nonetheless, you too. But it's like I said, inspiration comes in odd places at times. I just happen to be while listening to a lyric of a song.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say we actually did Seven Nation Army all as one big drum cover. And there was actually a few drummers out of the UK that we did together with. And that was actually pretty fun. It's actually the first time I've seen a guy who was doing a drum cover dressed as Darth Vader. So,
Standard over here.
oh yeah, that was pretty awesome to say the least there too. Cool guy nonetheless. Shout out to Rock Vader, by the way. All right. So I guess in terms of influences, I guess who really inspired you in terms of the guitar and I guess any other instruments that you play with?
Um, it comes in stages, but if I was to go right back to the very formative days when I really fell in love with music, and it became my obsession. Um, I grew up in a family that really loved Queen. So we would listen to Queen non-stop on family trips. And Queen are really diverse. If you don't like the band, there's at least one song that you'll like by Queen. There has to be. From there, my personal kind of big passion and obsession, certainly when I was 16, I fell in love with Guns N' Roses. I thought Izzy Stradlin and Slash were the bee's knees. And from there, I discovered Alice in Chains. On the British side of things, we had Oasis and Suede especially. I love Suede. Um, but certainly, Guns N' Roses were a big one. And growing up, Queen was a big influence in my household. So I probably narrow it down to them. I could list all day about my top 5 guitarists, but if you talk to me at different points of me, whatever life, that list will probably tweak every time. But Slash and Izzy Stradlin will always be there in the top 5 somewhere. Cause I still go back to them now and listen to them.
I know Slash or Andy Fraser. He really liked Slash as well from the Fraz band. Have you heard about those guys?
I think so, yeah.
I think a couple of interviews. Yeah, he had the shirt. It was Slash with a cigarette in his mouth and the signature sunglasses he always wears. So that's pretty cool.
I mean, Izzy can't be forgotten as well. I think he's a bit forgotten when it comes to Slash and Izzy because the way they were coming up with riffs and chopping between them. Slash is the front man, as it were, in terms of guitar playing. But those two together, I'm not the flashiest of guitarists. I'll be the first to admit that. I'm not trying to replicate being Slash. I mean, I haven't got the hair for one, let's face it. But certainly in terms of being inspired to play what you want to play and just come up with whatever you want to come up with, they're a big deal to me. Big deal.
I'd say we could probably make it work with a nice wig. Try to get away with it then. Yeah, just do the whole thing. Actually, that'd be a nice little challenge to do it like at a concert too, or a Slash wig with a top hat on. See how you can do.
Next Halloween gig, we'll get dressed up. Keep it all on.
All right, I'll hold you to it. And we can go ahead and jump in here about COVID. So I guess how bad did COVID impact you, family, and then music wise?
I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy what happened. As as a teacher, my it was one of my first years teaching. It was my first full year, and I had my class, and I couldn't finish. And it was just like, yeah, we're done now. We're gonna go home, and we're gonna go stay inside for a bit. Me and my immediate family took it in our stride. We were like, right. I mean, look at the news, look at the science. It's a big deal. And you know what? We get to chill out at home. We get to put on a box set. Let's put some movies on. I think we invested in Disney Plus because we decided we were going to watch all of the MCU in order, just to kind of go, right, that's going to be our thing for the short term. So we took it in our stride, but I had COVID about 3 weeks after or 2 weeks after the announcement was made over here to stop, to lock down. And it was awful. It was not pleasant at all. I could totally see why people with chest conditions or people who aren't maybe as fit and healthy really struggle because I mean, if you must have saw somebody who or maybe you've had it yourself, it was strange. It was like trying to breathe through sponge. It was such a surreal experience. So certainly personally, it was a big, like everybody, it was a big wow moment. In some ways, it was a good thing because I think it allowed the nation to reset themselves, look at what's important in terms of work-life balance. Um, and musically, I must admit, it was quite a fruitful period because how often am I going to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks to sit with my guitar and just write and have such interesting subject matter to look at and to analyze and think about what would I do in that situation, or yeah, we should give the NHS a big round of applause. Yeah, we should, but we need to do more than just go, well done. Let's give these people their money and their kudos and their work-life balance as well. It was mental, wasn't it? It was absolutely mental. It really was.
So most of it was mental, yeah. for most of the normal
Unfor-
people, at least.
yeah. Unfortunately, we lost our drummer. Not he didn't die, but because of COVID, he was self-employed. He couldn't be self-employed anymore, so he had to go and work. I think he would drive Tesco, it's a supermarket, and he he reevaluated his life. He had a newish girlfriend who then became mother of his first child, and that just reframed his life. So he was like, "Sorry, guys, I just can't do it." So in some ways, it was sad to see him move on, but obviously he needed to, so that was good for him. But in the end, it worked out really well because we ended up getting Alex in, and we completely leveled up in what we do. So it's certainly, yeah, I could talk for ages. You can probably tell about COVID, absolutely ages. But yeah, it had a huge impact. To summarize, had a huge impact, both good and bad.
I guess that explains why you're the spokesperson of the group. So, but,
Sorry.
no, you're good. And I guess, what made you do want to be a teacher? I guess you say you're a history teacher,
No, I'm a primary school teacher. I
primary school
teach
teacher.
children. I teach about 8, 9 years old up to 10. That's what I've done for the last few years. I wanted to be a teacher because I used to work for a bank. I won't say which bank in case I get into trouble, but it was rubbish. It was middle management nightmare. Everybody full of their own self-importance in the middle and would take full credit of anything that went up that was good and went filtered to the top, and anything coming down, they would put their own twist on it to make themselves more important. And it was making me depressed. And I was like, this could not be life. This could not be what I was meant to do. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm at work 30, 40 hours a week and I'm bored and I'm depressed and I'm miserable. And somebody said, what you thought about teaching? I was like, no. So I then began the road I volunteered at Scouts first, and I volunteered once a week at my friend who actually introduced me to Paul at his school. And I found it was hard. It was really hard, but I found I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and it was fun, and it meant something. It wasn't middle management nonsense, although there is plenty of that. But ultimately, you're helping little people, not little people, children become hopefully the best version of themselves. And I've slowly but surely found my own way of teaching. I'm quite an energetic, bubbly teacher, as you could probably imagine. So yeah, that's how I ended up being a teacher. I know Dom's really similar. Dom used to work for the same bank but in a different department. I never met him, but we were having a similar experience. It was mental. It really was mental when we got chatting.
Yeah, those types of instances does really suck. I can see why it kind of made you depressed and that sort of thing too. And, actually, the way you're saying little people, it almost seems like you're doing a company of dwarfs or something like that.
I'm just saying, teaching little people to be better. No, that's not what I meant. Children. The little people are great. They're already adults. They're fine.
There's a slight difference. So, yeah.
There is a little difference, yeah.
Right. Just out of curiosity, did you have to do like Zoom sort of meetings or Skype or anything like that in order to like teach any lessons, or were we kind of like?
I did, yeah. There was about 2 years, 18 months, where initially we didn't know what to do as a nation. We didn't really have much of a plan. We sent work home, keep kids active and going, then bring it back, and then we send more out. We just get dropped in and dropped off. Then I went to another school and I actually had a Zoom interview, and that was strange. I find really, because everything's on a delay, everything's got latency and lag. So I'd take a chance at an interview and maybe I'd be like, haha, funny antidote, or hey, little joke, just to show a bit of personality. Then there'll be a really awkward, still pause, then there'll be a laugh. But that latency was a killer because I was just like, if I just ruin it, oh no, they're laughing. But then this other school, I did a lot more teaching on Zoom and Skype, and it was an interesting challenge, but I don't want to do it again. So hopefully, no more COVID ever again. That'd be great. Unless we could just have the time off and all just chill out. I'll be happy with that. But teaching online sucks.
We'll say unlimited PTO. How about that? Paid time off. So we'd be like, yeah, we can live with that. So actually, if you're curious about this mpox that they're talking about now, the news that's apparently originating in like
Oh,
Africa. So
I saw that on BBC News. I saw the picture. And I was like, no, no. That needs to stop. Right, we need to help Africa. We need to help that continent now. Let's just contain it because that looks horrible. That looks absolutely horrible. But mpox has floated about for a couple of years now as a concern. If you've been following the news, it was mentioned a couple of years ago as the new COVID. Obviously, the other day, who announced that it had some real issues. So, oh, don't want that. Do not want
yeah,
that.
all right, let's see what happens, but tread carefully. All right. Yep. All right. But it is good to see you doing well there, mate. It's good to see you and the bandmates are doing well. So good to have you along for the ride. So, and just real quick, did you mention what year you guys had started Blue Orchid?
Yeah. I think it was about 2018, 2019. There was another incarnation before that, the Blue Orchid Reaction. Yeah, because it ties into when me and Dom met to become teachers. So it's about 6 years now. So yeah, about 18, 19.
I see. Actually, did you guys write any music and do any sort of recordings during COVID for Blue Orchid?
Well, we're always writing. I'm always writing. Dom's always writing. So the writing is always perpetual. Finishing it is a totally different kettle of fish because we want everyone's input. And I'm not a vocalist, and having Dom or Paul sing brings essentially that's the next stage of the songwriting for me. I can come up with words and lyrics and song structure and blah blah blah, but until somebody can sing it and play about with melody, that's when things need to be tweaked. So we were always writing, we always wrote. Recording was tricky. We tried to do some home recording, but we didn't have a drummer. We didn't have a way of recording drums properly. We tried on a couple of occasions, but they weren't great. We ended up using like a cajon. Is that right, cajon? With a box where you're tapping and it becomes like a portable drum. You sit on it and like a snare at one side and a bass drum at the front. It's all contained in a box. I think it's called a cajon.
I'm not sure. Never heard of it, to be honest. I would have thought you were
Check it
just
out.
doing programming drums or something, but
Again, I've got to think about programming drums. I want the live open feel. I like that. But we definitely tried, but it wasn't until after COVID and we had Alex on board that we looked at recording properly. We recorded a couple of EPs, but in hindsight, they were recorded more in the old-fashioned demo sense rather than a high-quality recording. But now I feel like we're recording at a much better standard than we were initially. But at the time, we loved it. At the time, it was the greatest thing you've ever heard. But you listen back now and you go, that's what we took it down.
it was like, that was bollocks back then.
I
So,
didn't know if I was allowed to swear. Oh, yeah, that was fucking shy.
yeah. That's good, though. You got First Amendment rights, and it's only adults are going to keep the kids away. The kids won't see this, so that's what you want.
Yeah.
Let's get a nice little swear and go beep 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 beep. Do something like that. So,
First day back to school, get in my office now.
yep.
What have I done?
Oh, what have I done? Yeah. All right. But you're all good. Right. But you're all good nonetheless. So thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
And one of the questions I actually brought up with Stellar was actually about the music scene in like her neck of the woods in Leeds. I think she said hers. It's pretty spread out. It's more like a rural countryside. I think that's what she said. But I guess what's your experience with the music scene in and around Leeds, and I guess wherever else you guys play?
I would consider the scene as actually more of a county, Yorkshire, incorporating Huddersfield, Bradford, as far as Sheffield, Barnsley. It's really vibrant at the moment. I think one of the things that's happened with the reaction to COVID, I think kids have picked up guitars and picked up microphones and are writing music and trying to do their own thing. Being slightly older on the scene, it's nice in a way because you're seeing all these things happening. You're seeing the ground swell, but we haven't. I don't think we've had a band break through in a while. That's the thing I would say. I think there's a lot of bands that I'm like, yeah, you're decent, you're good. I'll check you guys out again for sure. And the next week they've broken up or they've split up because I don't know, Dave's gone to uni or something like that. So it's nice being a part of the scene and seeing it, but it's not without its challenges. Because getting people through the doors has been at the grassroots level. Buying tickets before a gig has been a challenge, a real challenge for people. Because you're kind of stuck generating your own crowd, but then quite often that's your mates. But when your mates have got kids, full time jobs, or you know what I mean, they want to support you. But mate, I've been like to 7 gigs. I've heard these songs. You know what I mean? It's getting the balance right, and then trying to trying to generate a fan and not a mate. That's a big challenge. Someone who buy a ticket because they want to see you. But there's a ton of great bands out there that you might never hear of again, might only be together for 18 months, but actually catching them live, you might see one of the best gigs you've ever seen ever, and it'll be a bunch of nobodies who might never pick up a guitar again. But it's a good scene, I have to say. I've enjoyed being out and about on it.
I was gonna say life gets in the way, like people going off to uni or maybe the career differences and stuff like that. So I can see what you
Yeah,
mean.
it's all part of the journey, but if you love music, you'll find a way. I'd much rather be sat at an open mic with a guitar playing a song maybe I wrote a month ago than never play a guitar again. I'd rather have what I'll call the small wins. Don't get me wrong, I wish I could play in front of 1,000 people at a festival screaming, but that's just as good as being in the pub and just getting a chance to play a little song. For me, it's all about the love.
Yeah, but I guess we wouldn't want to have thousands of people cheering them on. That was the deal. If you got the metal
Oh,
scene there too, you get a nice little mosh pit going.
exactly. If you don't have a little circle of death, then you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I can see why. I guess speaking on the challenges right there, I guess. So, what challenges have you guys faced personally in your group? And I guess really,
Uh,
I guess really any challenges in general. I guess.
I mean, the first time we really struggled was when Johnny had left and we had a gap on drums, and it was like because Paul can play guitar and he was a drummer when he was younger. So for the purpose of continuing to write and practice and hang out, he'd hop on drums and he began to kind of begin to get his chops back. But then we lost something because half of the songs he sings, or he does backing vocals. He had 2 singers, and we then lost quite a key element of what we do. So that was the first challenge. It was the first time we were in a position where we had to see if we can find someone to come in who was the right fit and got on and were on board with what we wanted to do in the manner we wanted to do it. Other challenges, I have to say, just like I mentioned earlier, I think getting people to commit to a gig and a ticket is always difficult because friends will come and go. I mean, if you play well and get a good crowd. But getting that crowd to follow you or to go, oh, the guys are back, we're going to go check them out again, that is probably the eternal musical struggle, isn't it? It's that thing of getting somebody come and see you again and part money to see you. And selling tickets is a real pain, real pain. But I understand why, because promoters, they often front the cash themselves up front and need to recuperate their cash, or they've lost. Then the bands don't get paid, and the music scene guys. We've had too many clubs and music venues closed down in the UK. A bit of an epidemic, if I'm honest. But hopefully, music will make its kind of like a phoenix will rise again. Um, but yeah, they're probably the two main challenges that we've kind of faced.
Outside of that, and also carrying the gear and getting set up and all that stuff, as well as marketing.
I just think that's part and parcel of it. I do not mind at all. The one of the best times I've had is when we all get into a car. We've got guitars and drums everywhere. You've got a cricked neck as you're driving down the motorway. But then you dig it all out and you smash a 30-minute gig and it's like, yeah, this is this. And you load it all back and go back again. I don't mind that. I really don't.
It's not easy for you. You're not the drummer. So
I help our drummer. You help the talent. So I offer a hand whenever I can. We rotate driving. We definitely help each other with carrying all the gear.
I see. Yeah. Good man, nonetheless. Good man. Right. And I guess let's go ahead and jump about the gear. Talk about the gear that you got. So I guess we'll start with you, and I guess if you know what everybody else has, go ahead.
Say it again, sorry.
The gear. I guess what kind of gear do you guys use to make the magic
right.
happen?
Gear is terminology for something else in the UK. Just so you know what I'm saying. Don't touch that. Definitely not. I keep it simple. I've got a Fender amp, the Champion 40, which makes a right good racket. You can obviously mic it up and turn it up and all that. My guitar at the moment is a Telecaster Nashville model, which I only bought at the beginning of the year because I used to have a Gretsch Project, which is very similar to a Les Paul. And I love the big hollow body, but I didn't want to just copy Slash. I wanted something similar. But now I've moved on to Telecasters, and I love it. I really love it. Dom's left-handed. He plays. He bought himself a new bass recently, but left-handed basses, there's not many. He's invested in that. And Paul plays. He has an Epiphone. He's a huge Dave Grohl fan. He loves that other big blue guitar that Dave Grohl has. Obviously, we can't afford the Dave Grohl guitar, but he's found an Epiphone that is very similar. And he uses a classic Marshall amp, and it's the heaviest amp you've ever lifted. Honestly, he's got one massive bicep, but he just carries this amp because it's ridiculously heavy. My Squire, my Fender amp is really light, easy to carry and mobile, but his nightmare. The car literally goes like that on the suspension, dips on one side, and you put that in the boot. As for the drums, I've got no ideas.
It's just there. It sounds good. It works. That's all that matters.
Yeah, keep the beat. That's all we
That's all we ask for. So, right. And actually, I'm curious now because I've always brought up that question, but it seems like you said gear has a different meaning in the UK.
Yeah.
I was like, not really. I've always thought gear was always like the stuff that I'm using to make the magic happen here. So, I mean,
gear is a slang term for drums, basically. So, but yeah. What gear do you carry? I carry none, mate. I'm almost 40. I've grown up. Moving on.
I mean, that's the first too. I mean, I brought it up with other.
I
brought it up with other musicians, and especially those out of the UK. They've always knew what I was talking about. So, I mean, you're the first one that told me that here too. So I just learned some new slang.
I reckon they was there a slight pause when you asked them, and they went, "It must mean that. It must mean yeah, that's right." There might have been a slight pause. Maybe that's what it was. And they stopped and they corrected themselves. I'm a know, you can tell, I can't. There's not a single thought posed in my head.
Well, I thought too it was the latency too. I mean, we're talking like thousands of miles apart right here, so I'm not too sure. So, I mean, there wasn't any positives like, wait, did he say what I think he said? That sort of thing. There wasn't anything like that. So, I mean, they answered it right off the bat. So,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
but I guess, do you guys go to a studio or do you do your own recording in your own house?
We record at a home studio with a man called Mike Heaton, who is the drummer of a British band, a very successful British band called Embrace. Um, they're big enough to headline medium level festivals, but also big enough to be fifth, sixth, seventh on the bill at like Glastonbury main stage. He's one of the most nicest, humblest people I've ever met, and I grew up listening to his music as an Embrace fan. So to stumble upon him being available to do recording, he's really generous with his knowledge and his time. He's hopped on bongos for a song that we got coming out. Just if it's like, the song needs something just to tie it all together. I know. And he jumped on and did bongos and was like, we just get Mike Heaton from Embrace to hop on our song and do some bongos. Yeah, he's a really great guy. We have tried a few other places, but they were very much people starting to record. And we got in touch with Mike, and he's like, yeah, come down. I like what I hear, and it's just he's got it all set up in a little room. We build it up on layers. So it's a home studio, but it's a pretty good one.
He knows what he's doing. Do not mess with the microphones. I mean, that's a big thing. So,
If he's got a suggestion, we listen to it, we give it a try. But he's also humble enough to go, do you not think that works? And we go, yeah, we work, we'll keep it in. Or actually, no, I don't think it does. So he'll either explain the point to it and how it's about maybe creating a fuller sound, or if it's something that just doesn't really work, he's fine going, well, you're going to try these things, don't you? So he's probably very similar to us in that he just wants to make the song the best it could be.
good man. Yeah. A good choice on those two, too. Yes. Did you find him quite by accident, or was it one of those things you just found on the internet?
Our Dom is his uncle is the bass player in Embrace, but he was very reserved about using any connections. He didn't want to be that kind of guy. So 3 years later, we got him drunk in his kitchen, and I was like, just text him. If he records, text him and ask him how much could he fit us in. Like, we're not taking advantage of any links or you know what I mean. It's like we just want to record. So he bit of Dutch courage and he texted him and Mike was like, yeah, come down. We'll give it a go. If it works, it works. And we've been back and we've recorded 7 or 8 songs now with them because they sound good. They sound really good. They really do. The vision that we have for these songs originally, it's fantastic to hear them come to life in a really good recording.
Good choice. Right. Did you say you guys were drunk in the kitchen when you were trying to decide whether to call that guy or not?
We was having a party and we
Okay.
were talking about recording and about where we're going to go because I was researching a few places. We recorded with 2 other people, but they were very much learning their craft, and we felt everything could have been done a bit better. I mean, we were learning as well because studio is a different ball game, isn't it, than playing live? There's so much more to it. So we were learning about it. And we were just spitballing, and he was like, well, I could text them. I was like, we'll just do it. Like, we're not asking them for a gig, you know what I mean? We're not asking them to take us on tour or anything like that. It's just if he's got a slot, can he fit us in? And we'll see how it goes. And it went really well. Like I say, Mike's a fantastically humble guy considering all of his achievements. Anybody, he doesn't mind me asking, I'm a proper fanboy, he doesn't mind me asking stories, because they played Glastonbury when David Bowie played Glastonbury. They played just before David Bowie went on. And I'm like, what's the line meeting David Bowie at Glastonbury? He was like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So yeah, nothing but good things to say.
That's cool. I was gonna say sometimes the best things happen is when you were drunk, and then you just happen to send a message to someone.
No great story starts with, well, I was having this salad. No, it's all about having a drink and having a good time, letting your inhibitions and having a bit of Dutch courage. Be brave. Do it.
That's true, yeah. And actually, I was gonna say David Bowie, aka Ziggy Stardust, way back in the day. So yeah. Also,
Early 2000s, late 1990s. Yeah, man. How many people have you met who have met David Bowie? You're gonna ask them, aren't you? So he doesn't mind me asking a few questions, which is nice.
Yeah, and actually, yeah. I was gonna say Mr. Suffragette City, that whole song too. So, hey, rest in peace. It's a shame we lost him right there. So
He lives on in his music for sure.
that's true. Yeah, you always catch it every now and again. Just remember the good times. So, okay. I guess moving on in terms of like how you guys create the song, for instance. Do you normally start with a riff and then do lyrics last, or do you sometimes have the lyrics written and then try to form a song around them?
It depends who's written the song. If it's me, I have music and lyrics separate, and I find that they overlap. So I almost write lyrics as like poetry. Then I don't know why. I think they gravitate towards certain music for me, or I create music around these words. Don writes. He says he writes more based on melody. He comes up with a vocal melody, a vocal, really catchy tune, and he molds words into the melody. Then from there, we'll develop the song. Paul, when he does write, is very um, meticulous in his writing. You know, go away and look at chords, look at structures, look at timing. Well, I'm just kind of by feel. I think Dom's quite similar. So the initial bones of an idea is always one person who comes with most of the lyrics, a general structure in mind, some chords or some riffs or something. Then everybody puts in their little bit. Because once we get the two singers, well, who's singing it, who's not? Are you splitting the vocals? Let's talk about backing vocals. Then we'll talk about, this is where Alex comes in, timing, key changes. What can we do to make it exciting? What can we do to keep the listener on the toes and take an idea and elevate it? That's kind of the general kind of structure of how we write songs. We start, then everybody adds to the piece.
I see. So I don't want to say like a hierarchy, but it seems like it's almost like a democracy in this case. We establish a democracy in this house.
Yeah, I mean the rule. Well, it's supposed to an unspoken rule, but whoever wrote the majority of the song or started the song kind of has final say in what goes where. If a piece doesn't work, but we all try and be musically open-minded. But if there's a bit that just doesn't work, it's just like you've got to be humble enough to kind of go, if it doesn't work, we need to take it out. Or if it doesn't work, we need to work on it more to then really test it. But there's many stages to the song. I wouldn't show anybody unless I thought I had something. I would then only show one person first, one of the members of the band. Develop it as a two, then introduce the others in parts. But then sometimes we didn't even get past certain stages of that because it just said it doesn't work or needs to be gone and took away and worked on. So yeah, whoever's the main songwriter, the initial spark, kind of has the initial final, not the initial say, the final say on certain sort of structural changes.
Okay. I see. And I guess speaking of lyrics too, I guess what do you guys normally like to talk about in your lyrics?
Um, Dom's really abstract. Dom really likes abstract. He knows the true meaning of his songs. There's not many songs that are a bit on the nose. I think mine are a little bit more on the nose. It's either a certain emotion or feeling, or sometimes even a conversation I've had with somebody, and that'll trigger a couple of lines, and from there I'll come up with other parts to it. Sometimes they're political, sometimes they're not. Quite often, it's kind of the internal struggle of being a modern man in 2024. And sometimes it's about other people's struggles and acknowledging what you're seeing. Because Under These Skies, a recent song we released about a couple of months ago, that was a mix of my experience of COVID as well as what I was seeing in COVID, the good and the bad. I thought it was great. Some people were coming together and helping each other out, delivering food. I mentioned before about the NHS getting a big round of applause. They rightly should. Doctors and nurses are in a bad situation, or were, and still are in some cases. But then also saw people just not follow basic hygiene and not care, but then would complain if their grandma got ill. And it's like, well, which is it? We're in this together. We've got to do something. So the songs do vary, but they're kind of like the two, three main strands. I think Dom's probably very similar.
Mm. Yeah, I see. I guess recently, those crazy riots that happened in and around London. Are you guys okay? I didn't know if they had any other riots or any bad drama anywhere else in the UK.
I mean do you know what? That'll come out in some lyrics soon because yeah, the riots were nuts. The riots were a bunch of people far right hijacked some people who not as extreme as these far right people, but have got concerns. But then they ruined it because no one's going to listen to your concerns if you're robbing a shop or you're smashing the place up. No one's going to listen to you then. You've ruined your opportunity to go, look, I've got concerns. I'm worried about this. What can we do to make it better? Well, no one's going to listen to you, Dave, because you've just robbed a boots or a pharmacy, or you've decided to set a bus on fire. So, yeah, but I think the nation has turned around after a week of unrest. The majority of the nation has turned around and went, we're not like that. We're not like that. Where we do not accept any form of racism, any form of Islamophobia. We are one people on a planet. We need to take care of each other. And again, a bit like Under the Sky, a bit like COVID, I really like seeing the reaction to the darkness and kind of pushing back on it and kind of going, yeah, no. You might have your grievances, you might hate the world, you want to see it burn. The rest of us don't want to do that. Not perfect, things to work on, but this is how we work on it. This is how we get better. You don't go and smash places up.
The thing I always wanted to say was like people are more in the center or centrist, as I like to say, than they probably want to admit, to be honest. So that's always my
Uh,
point of view, especially the way you kind of brought up as well.
yeah, I mean, I'm all as a teacher dealing with children who fall out and argue over the silliest of things. Sitting down and talking and listening to each other's point of view is essential. I don't think that we do enough of this in the world, not to get deep and political. But you should look at the news in America, you look at the news in Britain, look at Ukraine, you look at Russia, you look at all these places, Israel. Um, it's just there's not enough people stopping, talking, listening, and figuring out a way. There's too many people going, nope, you're wrong, my agenda, I'm doing this. But then you're always going to get a reaction to somebody doing that, regardless of where you fall politically, because it's not as straightforward as that. It just isn't. So,
Never is.
yeah,
So
I got heavy and deep, didn't it, there for a moment? Sorry.
no, you're good. I did want to bring it up there too, and I was curious, and I also want to make sure everyone was okay because I was in the UK a couple of months ago, so it was at least more chill before like the whole election thing kicked off. To be honest, so
Yeah, I think most people are okay. I think those who have made mistakes are paying for them, including, I don't know what supposedly started it was the gentleman or 17 was. He went and attacked and killed some children, and that sparked supposedly riots. Then he immigrated from Slow. He's not. He was born in the UK, immigrant parents, but he's Christian, and he's very ill. Do you know what I mean? No normal person does that. So nobody should be. You know what I mean? He will get his, and rightly so. But that's not an excuse for what some of these people did in the name of these young girls and their family, because that doesn't make sense to me. No family would go, "Oh yeah, I'm grieving my little girl's death. Can you go smash up that shoe shop? That'll show." That doesn't make sense to me.
no, sir. Not sure what's going on there, but stay safe out there, mate. So
I feel like things have settled down. I feel like things have settled down. I feel like a message has been sent back to these people in big numbers, politically with jail sentences, but also everyday people have come out and did anti-far right, anti-violence protests. Sort of saying this isn't the way we do things. This isn't right. So hopefully things have settled down and we can continue to work towards greater goods, greater just harmony. That's what we want.
harmony, mate. That's all you need. Okay,
So love,
but
baby, peace and love.
yeah. Sorry we got off on a little political tangent there, but just wanted to make sure everything's all good there too. Plus, it's a new song idea as well, so we'll see what happens.
What happens?
Okay. But I guess first off, jump into the next question. I guess what social media and streaming platforms are you guys on?
Um, all the streaming platforms you can probably name, all the main ones certainly. Excuse me. Your Spotify, your Apple Music, etc. Google. Social media, the mainstream ones. I'm particularly busy on Instagram, which is linked to obviously Facebook. A little bit on Twitter. I can't be bothered with TikTok. I know I probably should. I know it'll be. I just can't be bothered. I just cannot be bothered with TikTok. But that might change in the future. But certainly at the moment, Instagram, Facebook are the main ones. We don't have our own website set up. I don't think we're big enough. I think social media accounts is more than suitable if anybody wants to get in touch and book us or check us out. Musically, we've got a number of songs coming out, are out on all social media platforms, available to buy on Amazon if you want to buy it. But we're more than happy with just getting it out, stream it, listen to it, enjoy it, come to the show. Yeah, so that's kind of where we are with social media and streaming.
Is UK doing anything special with TikTok? Because the US was suing China, I guess, in order to get
Um,
TikTok in order to make it more Americanized.
I believe this is. I'm not. I know probably give the impression I'm really, really political, and I'm not. But what I've kind of been reading a little bit about is potentially some sort of online bill that the government might introduce, which largely is about making companies responsible for the content on their platforms. Because you don't need to prove that you're over the age of 13 to sign up to these social medias platforms. Yeah, I've got kids who are 8, 9, and younger on these websites because their parents are letting them. So they're seeing things and hearing things out of context, seeing things and hearing things that they shouldn't hear, they're too young for, they're not ready to hear. So there is talk of some sort of bill around social media, them those major companies kind of being forced to kind of take a bit more responsibility because nobody should be able to spout hate and share misinformation in the manner we do because that creates these scenarios where people go and riot or do something horrendous because they think it's true. So it's just, I think it's accountability. I think that's hopefully what's going to come in a bit more because they've had about 20, 30 years of social media, 4chan, and things like that, where the dark side of these things are people share misinformation and create situations that don't need to be created.
Hmm.
So,
I guess it kind of just leads into the next question right here. I guess would you tie it in with like advice you kind of give to musicians, or like be accountable with what you do on social media?
um, the biggest advice I would say from a pure band perspective is don't share anything that isn't your best. Not every single picture needs to be uploaded. Not every single video live performance has to be uploaded because that is quite often social media as a band is quite often your first impression. And if your recording's not very good, that you're out of tune playing live, unless you're turning it into a bit and it's funny or it's you're doing it in a quirky way that this will teach me and it's a bit of fun, then don't share anything that isn't in some way conveying you in the manner you want to be conveyed. Same with your recordings. Don't put up weak recordings, tinny sounding live recordings just because you want to get everything out there. Because they'll have the opposite effect. It'll turn people off because they can't listen to it. So I would just that would be my advice. If I have to say to a new band setting up a social media account, think about what you're putting on. Think about what you're putting up. Is it going to reflect you in your best way? Is it showing your humour? Is it showing your sensitivity? Is it showing your qualities, your talent? What is it showing in the best light? And if it's not in the best light or the best foot forward, maybe don't put it up or put it up in some sort of temporary capacity.
Hmm. Okay, fair enough. I guess do you want to throw in any other advice? Maybe in terms of like along the lines like don't give up, that sort of line.
Oh yeah, I mean, do it for the music, do it for the love. If you do it with the idea, I am going to be the greatest thing on the planet. One in a generation hit those heights. Don't get me wrong, reach for the stars, land in a cloud. But just first and foremost, do it because you love it. Don't do it purely for the business side or purely because you want gratification. Do it because you enjoy it and you've got something to say. And yeah, if you're not doing it with a smile, what's the point?
What are you doing it for? Okay.
Exactly.
Fair enough. And that last thing, are you on the Facebook group Band Together?
I am, yes, but I'm the most active member, shall we say, on social media.
Oh, you are the PR guy too, so I mean that's why.
Exactly.
Okay, that's good to have you around there in the group there too. So thanks so much for joining. Okay.
Fantastic group, by the way. I must admit, it's been really nice to connect with a whole bunch of musicians around the world and found some really good music that we just stumble upon and really good support networks. So it's a fantastic group, really, really good group.
It was a good thing you responded and also sent me that song. Matt got a job of the whole McGriff show that I'm going to be doing here pretty soon here too. So
Awesome.
stay tuned for that. So Matt, we briefed through his questions here pretty good. We're now down to the phone ones. So ready for those?
Sure.
All right. So start here with the first one. Because what would you say is currently your favorite food?
My favorite, you know what? I am loving Thai food, Thai green curry, homemade with sweet potato, chicken, veggies in there with broccoli. I really love broccoli rice at the moment. I like the freshness of it. So Thai green curry with a bit of broccoli rice is absolutely banging.
You're getting a lot of Asian foods recently. Seems like a nice mix of Asian and Italian, to be honest.
Mm.
So if it's not one, it's definitely the other. So I mean, it's amazing too. They're taking over the world that way instead of doing it politically, to say the least. So
Multiculturalism, that's what it is.
that too. That too, yeah. Okay. And for the next question right here, I guess, what would you say is currently your favorite movie?
Um, I'm hoping, currently it's Deadpool, Wolverine, fantastic movie, but I'm going to go see the new Alien movie next week. And I rewatched Aliens, the second one, last night, and I am so excited for it coming out. I really hope that's everything I want it to be: gross, scary, gory, shocking, with aliens. Hopefully.
Big aliens popping out of people's chests. That's their
Oh, yeah.
deal.
It's the face huggers to me. It's scare the life out of me.
The face huggers, and then the aliens giving the big French kiss, or if that's what we want to call it.
Tube down the throat. Oh, God.
Oof. Oof.
Yeah.
Scary stuff. All right. I can see why. All right. Good choice. And next one right here, in terms of drinks, both in terms of alcohol and non-alcoholic, which ones would you say are your favorite?
I'm a really there's two alcoholic drinks I love at the moment. I've always loved Jack Daniels, but Jack Daniels Apple. Oh, oh my gosh, so good. And Captain Morgan's pineapple and mango. The spiced rum is the absolute. I'm gonna swear. The absolute dog's bollocks. It is so yummy. So alcoholic drinks is them too. Non-alcoholic. Um, I'm just a classic Coke Hero kind of guy. Maybe a latte now and again. Love a nice coffee. But in terms of what my tipple would be at a bar, one of those two: Jack Daniel's Apple, Captain Morgan, pineapple, and chest kiss.
Because they ever do a Captain and Coke?
Oh yeah, yeah, all the time. Certainly now with that fruity element, I really like it. It works really well with the rum spice. So yeah, that's the tipple.
Because always the point would be like, oh, it's better than sex. So
I wouldn't go that far.
probably wouldn't go that far, but I mean, it's something. So, all right. Great choices nonetheless, there too. And for the last of the fun questions right here, I guess this one, I don't really like to tweak it. I should probably start changing it going forward. But what would you say is currently your favorite song in the mainstream world? And then name one from the indie community.
um, you know what? Mainstream. I'm gonna say Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. I think that was a fantastic, addictive little pop song. Um, in terms of the not so common popular, I know Jack White's just released a new album. It's fairly mainstream. But are you aware of a man who passed away? But you met aware of a man called Mark Lanigan?
I'm not actually. So, sorry. You want to
Who
elaborate?
was a solo artist. He died a couple of years ago, 56, I think. He was a band from Seattle called Screaming Trees. He was their front man. He was the third vocalist for a long time for Queens of the Stone Age, and he had a really fantastic, varied solo career. But his one of his best albums is called Bubblegum, and a they're re-releasing it with bells and whistles. So it's going to have all the demos, songs that were recorded but not released, and all of this. And it's a song called "I Heard a Train" has come out, and like I say, he deserves to be remembered because he was a really good friend of Kurt Cobain and Lane from Alice in Chains. He had this crazy life with drugs and alcohol. He turned it around and beat the drug, beat the addiction, um, all while having this great Tom Waits style voice. where he was just born under a wandering star, and he had a fantastic way of words. Quite two different songs there. Expresso, pop fantastic, and I hear a train by a dead junkie. Yeah, quite a mix there. But yeah, they're the two that are on my car at the moment whenever I go anywhere.
I'll say I never heard about those guys before. Guys and gals, want to be fair, because I don't know about espresso.
I mean, you'll recognise. Well, I don't know if you will. I assume you will. It's everywhere over here. It's this really well regular pop song that's on supermarkets and radios, and you hear it when you walk around. But it's a good pop song. I know some people are like, "Ooh, too cool for pop." I'm not. I'm not. A pop song is a pop song. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't work and it's rubbish, then you don't listen to it.
Into something that clicks like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
Just
all I
something that
need.
if it works for you, it works for you. If you find yourself tapping or singing along to it, then there's got to be something good about it.
Something, yeah. All right. Great choice nonetheless, you too. And it's always interesting what you learn in these interviews as well. So, fair enough. Okay.
My pleasure.
So, Matt, we're down to one more question in my podcast right here. But I guess before we jump into it, do you have any questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
I just want to say thank you for giving me a platform to represent my band and letting us have a chat with somebody who I've not had the chance to have a chat with. So it's been an absolute pleasure. And just, yeah, all the best with your podcast, and hopefully it keeps on growing. And, you never know, maybe the new improved Joe Rogan. Maybe that's what you could be.
That would be
That's a,
nice.
that's a
I would say,
prediction. But
my dad is bald, so I mean, I'm kind of working towards that stage. So I mean, we'll be there pretty
okay.
soon. I know he's bald as well, Joe Rogan. I know, so we're working towards that way, slowly but surely, and sometimes painfully. So, was there anything else? Yes, anything before we jump into the question?
No, that's fine. I'll leave it there. I'm going to go have some tea.
Okay, but just real quick, for the
Yeah.
last question right here, here's how it goes. Given what COVID has done, obviously you were kind of impacted. I know you got sick, but it seems like you did struggle through it, but you came out better and stronger. I know it was more mental. I'd say COVID was the thing that quote unquote broke people's backs, to say the least, in terms of like a mentality speaking. But as you pull through it, I guess for those other musicians and I guess people who have perhaps struggled with COVID or anything else in their lives, what's our message of hope? Could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in a post-COVID world, teacher?
Um. Well, yeah. That's a deep question. I, in a way, what I think helps me, as well as being an educator, and what I say to my friends, we got through it. It was only ever temporary. Life's only temporary. So you can worry about the small stuff, or you can work on it and make the best of it that you can. There are definitely things that have appeared that COVID is being blamed or pinpointed as maybe wrongly as a root cause for certain things, but maybe they were always there and they've just been COVID brought them to the surface maybe a bit quicker. As a teacher, I have to say the building blocks of being a child, learning to read and count starts at home, and COVID interrupted that. Some children have flourished, some children haven't. COVID has had a big impact. So, but as a species, we've had all these things before. Spanish flu in 1917, I believe. Ebola crisis. All of these things that unfortunately they're part of life, but it's like, doesn't that make it more precious? Shouldn't that inform your priorities? So go to your granddads. You never know, you might not see him again next week. Go have that meal with your dad. Give your mum a ring. Give your nephew a fiver and go get an ice cream. Help that old lady across the road. Be a good person. Use COVID and the negatives that are being associated with COVID, and actually let's turn it around. That's what will be my kind of message. I mean, it's is it a half glass empty or half glass full? So for me, it's half glass full. You got to keep moving forward. You got to try and be positive. But kind of linking back to what we said about the riots and a few other issues, use the opportunity to do all the right things. Talk to someone, be patient, ask them why they're doing what they're doing, and see if you can help. But use COVID as a fuel to enjoy yourself. Pick up that guitar, go to that open mic, ask that girl out. You know what I mean? Little things like that. Go do it. What have you got to lose? That'll be my message. Because if you're gone, you're gone. Whereas when you're here, make the most of it while you can.
Just wanted to pause to make sure, but spoken like a true prodigy and a true teacher. So,
Absolutely.
okay. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for sharing. So,
Thank you.
Okay. So, Matt, we reached my podcast right here. We talked about. Well, we started a couple minutes later, so it might be a little under an hour and 20 minutes, but I guess nonetheless, got any final words? Any shouts you want to get before we close?
No, I'll leave it. I think I've waffled on far too much of it is. I'll just say thank you again, and thank you to any listeners. And if you like what nonsense I've spouted, you want to have a chat with me or chat with the band or check us out, social media, streaming, Blue Orchid Reaction. Let us know what you think. Hopefully you like it.
Well, let's hope the other teachers don't get a little jealous or call you into the office for all the wrong reasons. So,
I've been there before. It's fine. I'll just blame Dom.
all right, fair enough. And just real quick, for the audience's sake, can you just reiterate what social media and streaming platforms you guys are on so they can check you guys out and support you?
Yeah, it's all normal streaming services: Spotify, Apple Music, Google Music. If you type us in, you'll find us on Google, Blue Orchid Reaction. If you want to find us on Facebook, if you want to find us on Instagram, we are on Twitter, but Instagram, Facebook is where we're busiest. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. So everyone, my guest today was Matt Armstrong, hailing from Leeds, the UK. He's a teacher right here, and he's also part of the group. I'm going to try to pronounce it right because I know I pronounced it Orchard originally, but it's Blue Orchid Reaction. There we go.
Yeah. Well,
BOR. Actually, I was trying to figure out how to throw in an E in there so it could be bore. Do it that way.
Well, be bored and be aware on it.
Awesome.
We're not. That's the important thing.
We're not that sort of bore. We're the good ones. So, all right. But nonetheless, go support them on all the socials. Go support them on all streaming platforms right there. These guys are making some music out there. And go support your brothers and sisters. We're also slowly taking over the UK. I've interviewed a good number of musicians out there. You guys know how to make some killer music. So keep doing what you're doing, y'all. So, Matt, I wish you all the best going forward there, mate. So say hi to all the bandmates for me. So you stay safe because it's a crazy world out there. Oh, God. And Bose, Matt. Stay tuned, y'all.
And for you. Thank you again.